And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game called Wrath of Dragons, the resource destruction game. This is from Catalyst, and you see here a dragon fighting a bunch of troops. Now, I need to warn you, first of all, that this game is not about really a dragon attacking troops. It is thematically, but in essence, this game is a little bit more abstracted than that. You are a dragon, everyone is a dragon at the table, and you're going around destroying as much stuff as you can, but this is more of a Euro-style game where you're going to be doing worker placement and collecting resources and trying to have the most of those resources. Let me show you. There's a lot of different pieces here on the board. There's different resources, sheep and gold and nobles. And those resources are going to be resources that dragons go after. They're also going to be trying to destroy the different towns in each section. The board is split into 6 different sections, and dragons are going to be flying to those sections. There's resources in that area, and then there's different towns that you can destroy. The game is based around this deck of cards, and this deck of cards has the fronts, and we'll talk about those in a second, but it also has the backs. They're not really correlated in any way. It's just that at the beginning of each turn, when you bring out some new cards, you look at the back, and you're going to add resources to the board. Now, this is done because in the middle of the board is this hexagon here, and this action hex, it's called, is going to change each turn, and it shows what resources are added to different areas on the board. And so players are going to be adding, and different towns are going to be growing, but then players are going to be going after them. Now, the first thing that players are going to do for this is they're going to be spending some actions. You have 1 action each turn, and the game takes place over 6 centuries. Each century is a turn, and so the first century, these are the 6 actions available, and then a new action is added each time. The actions might be, you take the first layer action, which means next round you get to pick your action first. Or the first attack action, we'll talk about that in a second. Or you can take a sheep and a gold, or 2 sheep, or 2 gold. Or you get to draw cards. Later on, you'll be able to go to the same spot another dragon goes. You'll be able to draw cards equal to number of players. Everyone gets one starting with you. Here you get 3 different resources. Here you can destroy a building. And on the last turn, you can just simply take this Terrify token, which is 3 points. So the worker phase is first, and that also in that layer action, whoever has that is going to pick one of these cards. You're going to pick these cards in turn order, and each of these cards is going to allow you to go to a different region and make a certain kind of attack against it. So this one here lets me make a breath attack in Slavia. This one here lets me do whatever the action hex shows in Galilee. This one here can be used in any region and as a breath attack. So players will get to pick these cards in order, starting with the person who has the dragon lair tile. And so that tile is an important one to get, because not only does it let you take your action first, it lets you take your card first. However, you also want to have the dragon token to go first, the attack token, because whoever has this token is going to decide which region they're going to fly their dragon into. Players are going to take turns, and they're going to fly their dragon into a region, and if a dragon's in a region, you can't go in that region unless you manage to get the dragon ward token that lets you do that. Once you're in a region, you're going to use cards to do things in that region. The cards might let you eat the sheep in the region, or destroy the crops, or capture the nobles, or take the gold, or destroy buildings. The problem is every time you destroy buildings, you will often take damage to your dragon from fighting the buildings, and players will keep track of their damage here. You can never die in this game, so if you only have 1 health left, you can't take an action that would require you to lose health. Each turn of the game, you're going to recover 1 health, although you can see that's not that fantastic. But whenever you do something, if you destroy a major city, or you destroy 3 towns, or you get 4 resources all in 1 turn, if you ever pull one of those off, you get to take an upgrade. So here I can go up to 6 health rather than 4. Here, or I can take +2 health per turn instead of +1. Here I can move for free. Here I can move the action tile in the middle for free, and here I can get extra cards, and so you can go up levels and do different things. These are also extra actions you can do on your turn besides playing cards. I can move sheep. I can eat a sheep to move my dragon an extra space on the board. I can pay a gold to rotate that action hex in the middle. I can attack to lose health, and there's different things that you can do. So you can use your resources. You can eat nobles to cure yourself, heal 2 health. So there's different things that you're doing, but your main goal of the game is to try to get buildings from as many different colors as possible. As time goes by, the buildings will double and become a town, and then those buildings will go away and become a city if no one attacks them, and that's done at the beginning of each round. Players also have a special card that they can use. This lets them use the action tile in the middle for whatever region they're in. They can use this every turn, and they'll get this card back. And when you level up your dragon, you get the extra one. So you'll have 2 of these cards that you can use each turn. And that's essentially it. You're going to do that over the 6 centuries, taking a worker placement and a card drafting, and then basically trying to destroy stuff on the board with the cards that you have in the right regions. At the end of the game, you're going to get points for every of the different colors you have. Each city you've destroyed gives you a point. Having one of every color gives you bonus points. Having the most in different types of resources give you points. And then having the most of each color building from each of the different regions is going to give you points. And then there's also the +3 points for this. Whoever has the most points is the winner. Now I'm going to start out by saying that I do enjoy Wrath of Dragons. I think it's a very interesting game and there's a lot going on involved with it. But there are a few negative things, mostly with the components. I found the components generic. They look like they took the components from Settlers of Catan and from Agricola. It looks like they just pulled a bunch of components from different games. It's not the end of the world, but where I do have a bigger problem is I don't like when your player colors are the same as colors on the board. It's always kind of a pain. I'm the green dragon, but there's also a green buildings on the board. I'm the white dragon, there's also white buildings on the board, and there's sheep that are white. I prefer the resources to be different colors than the player colors. Other than that, the board is pretty functional. I do like the different places to put your workers and things, and I do like how the game works. There's 2 sections to the game, and there's 2 first player markers, and it's important to get those. You want to have that first dragon attack thing, because you want to be the first one to get in a region. If I have a bunch of cards that let me really pillage a certain region, but someone else goes there first, that's kind of annoying. Now, the game is interesting that when I am done with a region, so when we do those attacks in order, and I play my cards and do different things in a region, I take my dragon out, I'm finished. So the next player can do things in a region, and if they have a sheep, they can move into that region and then also do things in that region. So if you have enough resources, you can spend those to move around the table. But at the same time, every sheep you spend to move, every gold you spend, every noble you eat to get health back, those things take away from having the most at the end of the game of those specific things. So and then that's some pretty hefty bonuses. So it's kind of a tough thing to do. One time I played with someone who they just massed amounts of stuff, and they did very well over the course of the game. I also like the worker placement aspect. You basically just have one. You put your dragon on the spot, and you have more actions, one more action added each turn. And that can be pretty hefty because you want a good spot next turn, so you want to take that first worker, but you also want the first dragon. The first worker also lets you take those cards at the bottom, and sometimes you want a very specific card. I need to blow up this city. I need 2 attack to do that in the green area. I got 1. I need another one. There's 1 green card out there. Very intriguing game. There's a lot going on, and that action hex in the middle I felt was something different to this game. It added something unusual. So while the game itself, the artwork is fine. Each player has a shield, and they keep all their stuff behind a shield. The dragons look great. I enjoy how the artwork of the game. The components of the game are, they're bright and colorful. The whole game kind of has a good look to it. I just felt like they were a bit generic. I think some people are going to be suckered into this thinking, woohoo, dragon fights, let's do it. And then find out that that's not really how this game works. But take that out, look at it as, hey, this is a Euro-style game where we're collecting resources and trying to have as many different towns that we destroy. And you can still get into the theme, like, my name is Mujabaga, the dragon that's coming in to destroy everything. That can be a lot of fun, really, when you get into that theme. And the theming does make sense. It does make sense that eating nobles would heal a bit of your health. And it does make sense that eating sheep gives you strength to fly more. All that stuff works together to make a very intriguing game certainly one I think you should check out. That's Wrath of Dragons. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.